So I'm very excited for the year ahead. I think 2025 is going to be an excellent year for digital advertising. And I've really come to this conclusion from a variety of angles. Number one, we are seeing resolution of some macro uncertainties that we've had to live with for the last several years. You're familiar with them, interest rates rising, fear of recession, and a variety of factors that have been negative on the economy in general, and it's had a big implication on digital advertising. Second is we're sort of industry challenges are getting resolved, let's say. I call it industry cleanup, where the sort of over-fragmentation of the ecosystem, which has produced some sort of negative outcomes, are being cleaned up. We're seeing that with identity, with the cookie, probably now finally going to be deprecated via consumer choice, but that's going to resolve. We are seeing supply path optimization really sort of clean up a bunch of sort of dark corners, I call it, and a really overdue need to consolidate the ecosystem because it's too fragmented. We're seeing industry green shoots. So a number of different areas. Digital advertising is up, double digits still. We've got far bigger growth in areas like CTV that are seeing demand from new, smaller, more performant advertisers. Commerce media is all the rage, not just retail media on sites, but the proliferation of first-party data onto inventory across open web and walled gardens and CTV. So we're seeing that. And then AI. AI is an enormous opportunity, in particular for advertising, because of the large data sets. And then finally, government. We've got a new government, new administration here in the U.S., and it is largely perceived to be far more pro-business, and we're likely to see less virulent antitrust activity. All of these things are leading to a much stronger 2025.
Well, that's great. Now, from your perspective as a banker, what do you see happening as far as not only deal activity, and I'm not just saying M&A, but other kinds of deals? Like where is money going toward? Are there companies that are really exciting to investors, or what do you? But maybe you could please tell us too about the M&A scene, what's happening. I'd just like to hear a bit about the whole deal scene from your perspective.
So we've just come out of a couple years of pretty bad environment for deal making. 2023 was the lowest level of M&A activity in over a decade. And again, that was a function of macro uncertainties and some industry variables as well. But we sort of said, good way to think about it is 2023, survive, 2024, revive, and it has been a revival year. We've seen more activity than the prior year, but 2025 is thrive. And we're seeing it in dialogue. Yes, there's been more deal activity this year. The preponderance of transactions, though, have been what I would describe as sort of rationalization deals, nothing to write home about in terms of valuation multiples, but we're also seeing dialogue around strategic deals, larger deals, higher valuation deals, deals that move the needle and have an impact on the ecosystem. And those are what turns heads, what are very exciting, and that's the kind of dialogue that will lead to deals in 2025 that we're particularly excited about. Because again, deal making, it's great for the selling shareholders, it's great for the intermediaries involved, but more importantly, it's really the flywheel of innovation. Large companies buying small companies to accelerate their go-to-market technology play, and then the entrepreneur eventually leaves and starts it all over again, and the flywheel just continues. It's one thing that we as a country do better than anyone else on this globe, and it's a strategic advantage, and we should lean into it.